So earlier today, I got a question in the comment section asking for help from Raphael, and he asked about involuntarily opening up the racket face when he's hitting a forehand, especially when he's trying to hit the ball hard. So Rafa, thank you so much for the question. I want to give you a couple ideas. Now, to help me, I've got the Topspin Pro here. To get your own for at-home practice, you know what to do. Use my affiliate link in the description below. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. You might notice it looks a little different. I took the shields off so that it's going to help me with this demonstration. So opening up the racket face, this simply means that as you're getting to the ball and you're about to hit, your strings face more up, right? So open means up, closed means down. So there are a couple ways we can fix this for you, Rafa. First, with your Topspin Pro, I want you to practice with the feeling that you're going to be hitting above the equator of the ball. Think of hitting on the northern hemisphere of the ball. So as you're hitting, you want the feeling that your strings are facing down as you're grazing across the top of the ball. Now, this is not actually what you want to do, because if you hit a tennis ball with your strings pointing down at 45 degrees, like I'm demonstrating, it will go straight into the ground. You're not going to get that ball over the net. But that is going to be the feeling that you want to have. You can even practice this with a ball in the throat of the racket. So remember, you're going to take the racket back high with both hands. As you drop, you're going to close the racket. The feeling is that as you're hitting the tennis ball, like the ball when you're actually playing, or it could be on your Topspin Pro, that a ball is sitting in the throat of the racket, keeping your strings from opening up. So when you practice this, practice the feeling that your strings are facing the ground. Now, when you actually hit the ball, what you'll want is the racket to only be a few degrees closed. You can think of like 5 or 10 degrees closed at the absolute most, as long as you're swinging up fast enough to drag that ball up over the net. But if you're someone, and it's not just for Rafa, for anyone watching, if you're someone who tends to open up the racket, think of the tennis ball like the Earth, and it's got a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. Don't hit the equator or attempt to hit the equator if you tend to open up, which means you're hitting the southern hemisphere of the ball. Think of grazing across the northern hemisphere, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to hit the ball. I'm going to try not to hit the ceiling, and I'm just going to graze as I'm hitting. I'm grazing the top. Now, again, if you go out and film yourself, which I'm always recommending that you do, Raphael, if you go out and film yourself hitting forehands and you see that at contact, I mean, you swore like, man, I'm getting my racket face closed as I'm hitting this ball. If you go and check the video and you see that your racket face is only a few degrees closed, then that was the result you were looking for. I'm a big fan of trying to work on the opposite of a problem. So if you have a problem of opening up your racket, let's work on keeping the racket closed. I will say one thing for all of you watching, and for Raphael as well. When you hit a forehand, what you don't want is the feeling of closing the racket, meaning your racket is open initially and then closing as you're hitting. Commonly thought of years ago as rolling over the ball for spin. That is not what you want, because then the strings are facing in many different directions as you hit, and timing it is basically impossible. You want the feeling of a consistent racket face angle before, during, and after contact. That's going to make you so much more consistent. Now, if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link in the description and pinned in the first comment for Play Your Court. And it's playyourcourt.com/2minutetennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. Raphael, thank you so much for the question. If any of you watching would like me to include your question or comment in a future video, just put it in the comment section below. But please get out your Topspin Pro and practice keeping your strings down as you hit. And when you go out and play, feel like you're hitting on the top half of the ball. Still swing low to high, but feel like you're hitting, Raphael, on the top half of the ball, and there's no doubt. You're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. Raphael, you got this.